Now what you do is to write internal CSS, you have to come into the head here, the head, and just give space between title and the next thing you want to type, and then you create a tag called style, the way we created opening and closing tag. So you have to create it inside the head. Now look at it, I said inside the head, not outside the head or inside the body, inside the head. And like I said, if you do it, it will work, the browser will show it, but by the time you want to use it somewhere else, it may not work, especially on the server. So now this style here is where you write everything that you want to do on your page. So now look at this background color that we did. Instead of writing it like this, all I need to do is select what I want to style. So you can see that here we are selecting body here. So instead of, since we are not going to be using inline CSS to do this anymore, you can just do it here and select the body like this. So whatever you want to select here, you select it like this without the tag. So you are not writing this, no, what you are doing is you just type it like this. Do you understand? So that's what you just type, and then you use curly braces. So now this body and curly braces, so this curly braces is where you write whatever you want to do here. This is CSS, not HTML, so it is different. So this is how you write it in CSS. So you now copy this thing here, whatever you typed here. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to put it in between this one and this one. So now let me explain what this is doing to you. This body is what you are selecting here. So this body here, as you selected the body here, is going to, what is going to happen is that it's going to select this one. So you are actually saying this is what you are selecting. So if you have more than one body on your page, it is going to select anything inside your HTML that has body. You understand? That's what this is doing. And this curly braces is trying to say, like, it's just like the opening and closing tag also. So this one is like opening and this one is like closing. So you must always close it, so that when you select something else, like this HR that I styled here, I'm going to say HR, and I'm also going to say opening and closing. So you must always close everything you are doing and open everything you are. If I didn't put this here, this one will have an error. You can see this red line here. It's going to have an error and it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to do it like this. So close it every time. Then inside it, you now write what you want to do. So what I want to do is I want to change the background color of the body, this one that I just selected here, and this is the color. So it's still the same way, background color, the column, the color, and then you have to always put this one here. Do you understand? So that's how you do that. And you can see that if I come back here, it's still going to give me that background color. It will not change, it's still the same thing. So now the HR that we have here, you now see the difference between inline and internal CSS. So I'm going to remove this one here also, this background color and every other thing that is here. I'm going to copy it and bring it here, and if I put it here, you can see that I'm changing the background color to white, and I'm changing the border none and height. Don't worry, you understand all this very soon. Because this is too long, I'm going to right click and say format with prettier, so that it will arrange them better, so that I can see them very well. You can see now that it is arranging them better for me. So I'm going to delete this style inside here, the body. So you don't need to write anything inside your HTML tag. You can just write it separately somewhere like this. So since I've selected the HR here and I've changed everything, instead of it to affect just one of them, it's going to affect everything that is HR here. And if you look at my code, you can see that everything has changed to white, because now it is selecting everything that is named HR. So what this thing means is called a selector. You can see that when I hover on it, it's saying selector specificity. So now this selector means that I'm selecting everything that is inside here that is named HR. So anything that you come here and name it HR is going to select it here and have this effect, this style. So it's going to give everything that is here called HR this particular style. So that's how to use internal CSS. So now the difference between inline and internal CSS is that internal CSS is written inside a style opening tag and closing tag style elements inside the head element, and you write everything you want to do here inside it, inside this opening and closing style tag. You understand? And inline CSS, we only select one element and style it, but this one will select everything as long as that thing has this name. If it's the same name, if I change this one here to HRS, it's not going to do anything. So it's not, you can see that it's not here anymore. So because this HRS does not, it's not the same as this. So let me just remove it and put it back. So it's going to select everything and do it the same way. So that's how internal CSS works. So if you have like 2 million HR here, you don't need to select it one by one. You only select it once here, and it's going to affect everything as long as the name is the same. You understand? So that's how to use internal CSS. Do you understand? But now, even as we are using internal CSS, there's still another problem. If I go to my hobbies page, you can see that my hobbies page does not have the same background color with the home page, and even my contact me page does not have that same color, and the HR is here in my contact me page, and the HR does not have this style that the home page has. So what we have to do is we can actually copy this thing and paste it. So I can come to contact.html and paste it here, and also come to hobbies and paste it there. But that is not a very good way of writing code. This is repetition, and like I said, it's not good to repeat things many times. You can just write it once somewhere and it's going to affect everything on your page. So that's when so now we are going to move on to external CSS. So now, how do you use external CSS? If you want to use external CSS, the first thing you are going to do is you come to your Explorer here and create a new file and call it styles.css. You understand? So like I said earlier, if you want to write CSS code, you make sure that your extension, that is dot whatever, should be dot CSS, not dot. No, now we are not writing HTML, we are writing CSS, so it should be dot CSS. And you can see the color of the icon. This is the reason why I said we should download that icon. You can see the color is different from HTML. This one here is 5, which is HTML5, and this one is CSS3. Now this is the version of CSS we are writing, CSS3. Now we are going to say, so everything we have here in my code, in my index.html, we are going to put it inside here. Instead of writing it inside here, we are going to put it inside here. So let me come. So because this is a CSS page, you should not use tag or anything like elements. CSS does not use elements. It's only this one inside here that you copy into your CSS. So you don't copy, you don't type anything like tag. If I type anything like tag like this, it's not going to understand what this is, and it's going to give you an error. You can see that there's an error here. So there's no need to do that here. So all I need to do is delete this one. There's no need for that style tag anymore, since we have this one here and we have this one here. So the style will now affect everything here inside the HTML code. So now when we go back to our website, we don't have all those style anymore. Everything has come back to normal. Why? The reason is because in our HTML code, we are not referencing this CSS. So there's no way we can say that this CSS is connected to this HTML. So we have to connect this HTML to this CSS so that it can have everything here, inside here. Everything inside here can be referenced here, and everything inside here can be referenced here. So now how do we link our CSS that we created into the HTML here? So all you need to do, like I said, everything that is not going to be showing on your page should be done inside the head. And if you noticed, everything we write here on our page, on our CSS, is not showing here. It's only changing the style. So like this background color, everything, nothing, you are not typing background color here or anything. It's just changing the style of the page. So that's why we are not writing it inside the body tag or anything, inside this body page, or body element rather. So it has to be inside the head tag. So we have to link this CSS to the HTML. So how do we do that? Now there's an element, an HTML element called link. So all you need to do is type link, which is link, and then you see something like this, link CSS. You can see here link atom, link CSS, link fav icon. But what we are trying to do is we are linking CSS. So you can link anything you want to link into your page, but for now we are trying to link CSS. So you choose link CSS. When you type link, it's going to suggest something and it's going to show link CSS. And you see, immediately I clicked on it, it showed me a relationship. So it's saying that what's the relationship, and the relationship is a style sheet. You understand? So this style sheet means that we are trying to link a style sheet into our HTML page. So this CSS is called a style sheet. In the beginning when I started, I said the full meaning of CSS is cascading style sheet. So that's what we are trying to put here, and this is just English word. If you separate it and read it better, you see that this, to state something is a style and a sheet. So you hear sheet of paper, document. So sheet can also be like document or whatever. So this is what it's saying. It says style sheet or style document or style paper. So it's just like the same word. It's just a sheet of paper or a sheet of something. You understand? So now it's saying style sheet, and then the href. If you notice that every time we use href, we are trying to get the part of something. So it's either a link to something, maybe to a website online, instagram.com or whatever, or this one. So we can even link to a CSS style in another website. So if we have a style called instagram.com/style.css, that means we are trying to use the style Instagram is using, but we don't know whether that's the name of the style they use, so we can't just use it. You understand? So if I save it now, it's supposed to have the effect, but it is not having the effect. Reason is because the name of your style.css must be the same one you created here. And if you look at it very well, you can see that the styles here is styles.css, not style. So this one has s, so I have to make sure that it has s. I'm going to say s, and I'm going to save it. And if I save it, you can see that it has come back to the way we have it before. And if I go to my hobbies, I will see that the hobbies also has that same background. No, it doesn't have the same background, and the reason why is because we've not linked the hobbies page to that CSS that we created. Now you can see the difference between what's it called, internal and external. Our internal CSS, we don't need to write anything here again. So we've written everything we want to write in our HTML, and we don't need to start adding plenty code. We only write one line and it's going to reference this on the page. So let me go back. If you go to our contact me, it's still not the same. Our HR is still not here, so we have to reference it on every page. So if I go to my index.html, all you need to copy is just this one line like this, and I'll go here, this contact me, and I'll bring it to my head. You can see that this link is after the title page inside the opening and closing head tag. So don't put it outside here. So when I save it, if I go to my, which one is this, contacts HTML, if I go there now, you can see now that the contacts HTML also have the same style as this place. Even the HR is now the same, and you can see that I'm only writing this once. I'm not writing it multiple times. And you can also format this document with prettier also. You can see that it's looking better now. Now if I want the hobbies to also have the same style, I'll copy this one and then also put it in the hobbies page. and then save it. And the hobbies will also have the same background and the same style. So you can see how how sweet it is now. So it is very easy to use external CSS than any other type of CSS. You understand? External CSS will allow you to write few code, not too much code. Instead of me copying all of this in all the pages, I just copy only one line in all my pages and it will show up here.